Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of the College Football Tailgate. As always, it is me, XFL Jim.
For the love of fucking football!
I'm joined, of course, by the man to my left. Actually, my right. Technically, I can't tell. The way you're viewing it's to my right. This is Chase Lupine Fiasco. Sessoms, baby, a.k.a. the Wolf of Oaklawn.
Let's fucking go!
And of course, as always, we're joined by the man, the myth, the legend. It is Erik, a.k.a. Uncle Rico, baby. What's up, boys? How you doing? Ready for some Big 12 talk?
I'm ready for some Big 12.
I want to come out and say it. Ahead of it. I think the Big 12
I'm ready to talk about what.
What was that,
I'm back.
Chase?
I went out for a second. I'm back though.
Okay.
I'm ready to talk about what feels like half the country, like with the Big 12.
It definitely takes up. They're one of those. They're not quite coast to coast yet. Was the audio issues all right? I think we're sounding fine.
I think we're good.
But I'm just the Big 12 for me out of all the P4 conferences is the most exciting conference in my mind. I think the parity's there. I think the ones at the top aren't as far away as in like the SEC and the Big 10. I don't think Utah and Kansas State are leaps and bounds better than any other team in this conference. So I'm excited to see how it plays out.
I'm not that high on Kansas State.
Why not? Why not, Erik?
Their quarterback?
You don't like Avery Johnson?
No.
It's just because you're a hater of talent. I understand.
He's better than Tua. I'll give him that.
Shots fired early.
Well, we had a whole fucking deal yesterday, Chase. It's fine. It's fine.
Actually, no, I have Kansas State winning a lot, but I think they're the third best team in the conference.
I wonder. Okay, I'm wondering who you have as number 2. I'm wondering, and I'm if you say it, I'm gonna see if I guess it or not. All right, boys, you ready to jump into this?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Starting off, we have the Arizona Wildcats plus 1,100 to win the Big 12. 7.5 is the win total. Minus 120 on the over. Plus 100 on the under. My notes for Arizona, I just had, this is a hell of a year for Jeb Fish to leave. I feel like they're set up super well if he would have stayed. They returned 6 on offense, 5 on defense. This team is like they kept like the key pieces.
Yeah, I mean, Dino Babers is the offensive line. Yeah, I have a neck tan, I have a neck tan. Dino Babers is the OC. I'm not the biggest Dino guy. Their quarterback's returning, not hitting the portal. They could arguably have the top quarterback in the conference. Obviously, a new offensive scheme. You're losing your all-conference left tackle. That's going to be a little worrisome for me. You're losing your best offensive lineman, bringing in a new offensive scheme, new blocking scheme. Conley followed Brennan over from San Diego State. He's going to split time with Merritt, who ran for over 1,000 yards at New Mexico. If this line can block, I think they could be good. McMillan is back. He's one of the top wide receivers in the conference. The big key to the turnaround by Zona was how good they were last season on the defensive line. They only allowed 118 yards per game, had 39 sacks. They're missing a ton from that unit that did that last year. I think they're going to take a step backwards on the defensive front. Back 7 will be the strength of this defense. DB is one of the better units in the country. Zona did overachieve last season. They have a new coach who started late. With that being said, I think they're going to take a step forward compared to last year.
Also, how do you feel like Brent Brennan does in year 1 stepping up from San Jose State?
I think he does fine. I mean, we need to remember that 2 years ago, he was coaching San Jose State when they lost that player tragically, and he was able to keep that team all together to close the season. So he is a good leader. It kind of depends on Dino, as crazy as it sounds in my eyes, with this offense and this new blocking scheme. My biggest questions are in the trenches with them, and I'm a big trenches guy, so that's why I'm a little lower on them.
You had me at Dino Babers.
For those of you who don't know, Chase and I are big Dino fans.
We do love Dino. But what is he going to do without the shredder at quarterback? Who do they have? Who's the projected starter at quarterback? Is it?
It's Noah Fafita, 100%. It's Fafita.
Okay. How is he?
We got to figure out a nickname for him.
Is he a pretty mobile guy? Yeah, I thought so.
We'll call him Noah Floffles.
So is he? Who's more mobile, him or her shredder?
I think Fafita's more talented.
I think I might have just sold myself on Arizona, quite honestly.
You boys ready to get into this schedule?
Let's go.
Yeah. Starting off, they got New Mexico, Northern Arizona, and then at K-State before their first bye. Not a bad way to start the season, honestly. I got them 2-1. After the bye, it's at Utah, Texas Tech, at BYU, Colorado, West Virginia, and then at UCF.
Oof. I have 3-3.
It's a rough middle. But I
mean, like that BYU game, BYU's coming off a bye. You go play a physical Utah team. You play Texas Tech that's going to want to look to press the pace. Then you have to travel all the way back up to Utah in altitude. That's 2 games in altitude in 3 weeks. That BYU spot is a sleepy spot. Come home. I think you're going to be able to beat Colorado. I'm a little higher on West Virginia. Then you go down to the Heat and UCF. So, I mean, I am losing to Utah, BYU, and UCF in that stretch.
I think I have them losing. Go ahead, Chase.
I was going to say that's exactly how Erik sees that the schedule lining out there and the wins and losses is about how I see it with that loss at UCF, having to go down to the bounce house for that in the middle of November.
Yeah, I have it exactly the same way. I have them losing to BYU, Utah, and UCF. After that bye, though, then it's Houston at home, at TCU, and then Arizona State.
I'm going to say they reel off 3 straight there and go 8-4.
I have them losing at TCU.
Yeah, I'm going to give them the L at TCU. I think TCU's in for not necessarily a bounce back, but like a sort of rebound.
I still have them winning 7. I still am going 7-5.
You're still on the under then. Yeah. 7.5 is the over under, Erik.
That's not enough spice for me.
Oh, it's enough spice for me. Plus 100. Give me the under on Arizona, baby.
Yeah, the total here is I'm getting 7.5, and neither side is plus money. It's a hard pass on any Arizona futures for me.
Up next, we have the Arizona State Sun Devils. Plus 10,000 to win the Big 12. Their win total is set at 4.5, plus 140 to the over, minus 170 to the under. This team, I like Kenny Dillingham. They're in the interesting position that I think they could be a little better than last year, and I like what he's been doing, but I don't know if they improved record-wise.
I mean, Levet is transferring in from Michigan State, and trust me when I say this, he's not the long-term answer at the quarterback position. Losing 4, adding 7 transfers on the offensive line, it's going to take them that time to gel. Scapro is back. We'll see how he can produce running behind an offensive line, which I think is going to be a serious question mark. Wide receiver room is good, and if Levet is anything, he should be able to put up numbers. But I'm going to tell you guys, he is not that good. Little worried about the front 7, losing Green, Mallory, Brown, and Clark. But this DB room is bad. They're going to bleed production in the passing lane in the pass. So I look. Questions on the offensive line, questions at quarterback, questions at defensive line, questions in the back 4. I think it's going to be a long season in wherever they are. What is it? Scottsdale? Tempe?
No, Tempe is Arizona. I think they're Scottsdale.
No,
Either that or Glendale.
no. Tucson, they're Tempe because Tucson is Arizona.
Oh, okay. That's right.
Yeah.
Tempe then.
Yeah, Tempe.
I got it.
Yep.
Fucked up. Chase, any takes on Arizona State?
It's funny how just bad Herm Edwards left this program, like on his way out the door. And it's also funny to watch ESPN talk about Arizona State in front of Herm Edwards while he's standing there, since he works at ESPN now. I'm with you guys. I think that it's gonna be tough sledding for Arizona State. They don't have much, and they have a pretty tough schedule, based off of where everything falls.
Let's get into the schedule. So they start the season off with two home games, but tough competition. They get Wyoming, Mississippi State, both at home, then at Texas State and at Texas Tech before the bye.
I'll just make this quick. I don't have them winning a game until after their second bye.
So you have them losing to Wyoming, Mississippi State, Texas Tech, Kansas, Utah, and then Cincinnati.
And then at Oklahoma State, then I have them beating UCF at home.
You have them beating UCF at home.
Correct.
Okay.
I might have found my team to go unvictorious.
I have them beating UCF and beating BYU. I'm sorry, Jim.
No, I don't hate that. I also have them beating BYU. I got them at 3, maybe 4 wins. I also have them beating Mississippi State.
Oh, what?
Yep. I got them beating Mississippi State. I will be betting that week too.
Ooh, yeah. Eastern team traveling west. That is one of our favorite angles, isn't it?
Getting 6.5. I think that's going to get up to 7. I mean, I'm
going to take Wyoming. I'll tell you that for sure.
Wyoming for sure. I have that game circled.
I look through here and I don't really see all that many wins. Just everybody here looks tough. I'm a little bit higher. I'm always higher on BYU than everyone else is, so I can't give them that win.
They burned me last year, Chase.
Yeah, but they also beat my Razorbacks, and I called that shit. Whatever it is, I think it's the under, and I don't want any part of that at minus 180.
It's 4.5. Can't.
I don't see more than 2 wins on the schedule, and I would be willing to take a little prop bet that if someone in the Big 12 goes unvictorious, that it's Arizona State.
The more I look at this, oh my god, if I give them that UCF or because I have them beating Cincinnati as well.
Because I think UCF is going to be a tough out with KJ this year.
You know what? Give me the over on Arizona State. Here's the path, boys. Here's the path.
All right, lay it on me.
Close win against Wyoming to open up the season. It's home. It's tough, but they're going to get the dub. Mississippi State is transforming themselves and not doing so quick enough. They had to come to Arizona. Give me 2 wins to open up the slate. Texas State is tough, especially playing there. They lose both Texas State and Texas Tech. Off the bye, Kansas is a toss-up. We don't know if Jaden Daniels is going to survive the whole season. If he goes down, Kansas is ruined. Utah, obviously, that's a loss. At Cincinnati, though, Cincinnati's terrible. Give me that. Oklahoma State is not just like a freebie. Oklahoma State plays everybody close no matter what competition. UCF, Erik already gave them the win at UCF. Kansas State, no. I think Kansas State plays too clean. BYU, obviously. And then Arizona, I don't see it as a win, but I could see the path for 5.
Oh, Jim, that's why I love you, buddy.
Dude, you know what? I'm a believer. I like Dillingham. Give me by the Dilly bar. Up next, boys, we have the Baylor Bears plus 6,000 to win the Big 12. Win total is set at 5.5. Plus 100 on the over, minus 120 on the under. Baylor, they return a decent amount, but hot seat situation, right? Like
Dave Aranda, big time. Big time.
Finn from Toledo. He's stepping in, will be the starting quarterback. More mobile than what they've had in years past, but his arm strength is a downgrade. Offensive line is going to be a huge upgrade from last season. Give Finn time, and Finn with his legs is going to be able to extend the plays. Richardson is back, never had more than 90 yards in a game. He should be able to eat behind this offensive line. I think attacking his rushing props to start the season is the way to go. They have a ton of speed at the wide receiver position, but is Finn going to be able to get him the ball? He can run, but does he have the arm strength so the field stretchers can take the lid off the defense? Baldwin is going to eat this season on the defensive line. They only have one starter coming back, but they were huge in the transfer portal. They have the size on the line, should be tough to run against linebackers, returning a lot. But Keaton Thomas, who is a junior college transfer, has been the talk of the spring game. In practices, he could be their best player on the defense. DBs will be the strength of the defense as they are returning all and adding Simpkins and Jenkins, in the portal. Will be a sneaky team to bet in spots. How will the new offense and new blocking scheme work is my question mark.
Yeah, and with Dave Aranda taking over defense, I wonder how that's going to work out too.
And Baldwin's a wide receiver. I don't know why I said to eat on the defensive line. My fault. My fault.
I don't know about the vibes. I don't know about the vibes for Baylor right now. Something feels fishy.
I don't like it when head coaches take back over like play calling duties. That always seems like it never goes well for me. And that's completely anecdotal. I have no stats to go with it, but it seems like if he's I'm correct, he's taking over the defensive play calling, right?
Yep.
Yeah, if he's taking over the defensive play calling, like I'd rather see my head coach be a CEO and just let my coordinators coordinate. But I don't know. Hot seat year, so who knows? We could get a few extra wins out of them.
Let's go into the schedule. They start off with Tarleton at home, then it's at Utah, Air Force to start off the season.
The Air Force game is tougher than it should be, but I'm going to give them the win since it's at home.
I think that's a swing game for the season. The Air Force game is a swing game. If they lose that game and they play it right after Utah and then right before going to Colorado, they open up their first three games are on the road, and Iowa State is going to be hugely improved. Colorado, they have Sanders and Hunter. They're always going to be in a position to win any game because of those two. And Utah is legit in my eyes this year. There's a world they could be 1-4 going into the bye. And if that's the case, do they make the coaching change then and just get ahead of the 8 ball?
They might. They just might. That Air Force spot is the perfect sandwich. God.
I know, but that's their season right there. If they can somehow win that, I hate to use the word somehow, but if they lose that game, the wheels are going to fall off, and they're going to fall off fast.
I think if they go 3-3 before the bye, they're okay.
I honestly see them splitting it 3-3 between the home games and away games.
That's kind of how I had it too, Jace.
Yeah.
But like Erik said, Colorado's a toss-up any week. If that defense for Colorado doesn't improve, anyone can play with them.
And Air Force, just from a style perspective, is they're always, I hate to use the term again, tough out, but they're always a tough out.
That's such a tough spot to get them. In between buys, it's at Texas Tech, Oklahoma State at home, and TCU at home. I don't know.
I mean,
0-3 in that stretch.
Correct.
So that Texas Tech game is at.
Well, here's the thing. I have them beating Oklahoma State because that's such an Oklahoma State spot to lose.
That's fair.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? When I was going through it, if we just shift over, where is their goddamn schedule? I mean, Oklahoma State goes at K-State, at West Virginia. If they win both those games, Utah, K-State, West Virginia bye, then at Baylor on the road. I mean, I know it's coming off the bye, but to me, no, then at BYU, then at Baylor. That's just kind of a spot where I could see Oklahoma State losing because you play Utah tight, you're getting a little buzz, you go to Baylor and you lay an egg.
I could see it. It's definitely in the realm of possibility.
This team just looks like the most 5-7-ist looking team I think I could I've ever seen. Just everything about this team screams 5-7 to me. I don't know how it ends up 5-7. I just know it ends up 5-7 somehow.
So here's how they do it, Chase. They win against Tarleton Air Force, BYU, Oklahoma State, and Houston.
Okay, that sounds about right.
5-7, still under the 5.5. I'm taking the under.
Not touching it.
I have one.
If I get a good number, I might take Dave Aranda, first coach to be fired, too.
Nah, Bible school. They're super forgiving.
I don't know, dude. They got that weird private school Bible money.
Yep.
They can make things happen. Up next, it is the BYU Cougars plus 12,000 to win the conference. Win total is set at 4.5, plus 105 on the over, minus 125 on the under. I love this team. I love the coach. Kalani Sitake is one of my favorite coaches in like just any league whatsoever. Returning a decent amount, but I thought the transition would be a little smoother for him. It went really rough last year.
Yeah. Bohannon.
I mean, it went rough, but they still walked into an SEC school and got a win, like on the road last year. Their wide receivers catch everything. They're all 37 years old. So that they've got just like life experience on their side.
Bohannon transferring in third school in 3 years kind of says something about what you have at the quarterback position. He's going to be behind experience, all offensive line, but they did lose their left tackle, which is a huge loss. Robinson's gone. That means that Martin will be the starter, but he's not as productive as Robbins. Losing Rex is a huge blow to the passing game. Not sure if this team will be able to produce enough points to compete in the Big 12 this season. The interior of the line on the defensive side is taking a hit. They're going to be able to be run on during the season. Losing Thule is going to hurt the middle of the field. Plus in the back four, they're losing everyone. I think this defense will lead production. I look at this team's going to struggle to score points, and this defense is going to struggle to create stops. I think it's going to be a long season in BYU.
Yeah, you can think that all you want. It's okay. We all know your anti-Mormon bias.
Fun fact, Gary Bohannon is from the small town of Earl, Arkansas.
Yeah, I remember Earl on NBC. Did you ever watch that?
My Name is Earl?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I might have looked like Earl for a little bit in my 20s.
I mean, Jim, I hate to do this to you. I haven't won in 3 games.
I wonder, though, I get they're not returning a ton on defense. I wonder if another year under the system helps them out a little bit.
Maybe.
I don't hate their schedule. So we can get right into it. It's Southern Illinois at home, at SMU, at Wyoming, Kansas State, at Baylor. That's terrible to start, but still.
I think you can still give them 2 wins in that stretch.
I haven't winning 1.
The Salukis.
Old SIU, buddy.
I'll give them 2 in that stretch.
I'll give them 2. Maybe 3. 3 at most, though. Off the bye, then it's Arizona at home, Oklahoma State at home, and then at UCF.
Are we calling the Oklahoma State upset?
I think I will. I will.
No.
I kind of want to. I'm going to do it. I'm going to give them the third win.
I haven't beating Arizona. I haven't beating Arizona in that stretch.
Did they? Hey, Erik, you want to know how they played Oklahoma State last year?
Okay, how?
24-25. 34-40 overtime.
Okay. And what year is that?
That's okay. I don't care. I think Oklahoma State could be worse this year.
You know how years kind of blend together.
I think because Oklahoma State people are giving like props to now, I'm lower on them. Give me the win against Oklahoma State. And then after the next bye, it's at Utah, Kansas, at Arizona State, Houston.
I thought I would be much higher on them. I got them sitting at 4 wins.
I got them at 3. I got them beating Houston, Arizona, and SIU.
I got them at 6 wins. Going bowling. Let's go BYU on the over plus 105.
Sorry.
You killed Uncle Rico. Do you see what you did with your?
Sorry, dude.
It's Mormon magic, baby.
Jeez.
Oh man.
Bingo.
Up next, it's the Cincinnati Bearcats plus 8,000 to win the Big 12. Win total is set at a solid 5, minus 160 on the over, plus 135 on the under. This team, I had one note. Don't like Scott Satterfield. I don't. He's making like interesting moves, but I just don't like him as a coach right now.
Sorensby from Indy is transferring in. I'm not high on him. He's going to be their quarterback. But the thing that really stood out to Cincinnati for me is they're going to have one of the best offensive line in the conference. Kinnear is back. He rushed for over 1,000 yards last season. I think we really need to look to attack his rushing props early in the year before the books have him adjusted. I think it was a couple years ago, Jim's boy Martinez for Kansas State. The first 3 weeks, his rushing props were 30.5 yards per game. Not many people are attacking props. So when we see a guy like this running behind a good offensive line, I think this is a prop we need to look to attack. Henderson is back. Prater is entering year 2 as a wide receiver after he transferred positions. If Sorsby is anything, this offense has potential. They're getting 4 of their 6 defensive line back, adding some transfers, but they're switching to a 3-3-5 defense. Back of the defense is my concern. They're losing a lot, adding transfers, but not high on any of them. Questions at quarterback and on defense. This is a team that could click and really, really play up against a random team one week, and then the next week look like a JV team. I think their ceiling to floor is going to be a lot this year, but I really like Kinnear's rushing yard props early to start the season.
There's so much up in the air with this team, dude. I think they can improve, but like you said, it all comes down to Sorsby, and I don't know how much I trust him.
I mean, like a perfect example is I think they could play Pitt, beat Pitt, and then just lay an absolute egg against Miami. I think it's going to be like one of those type seasons with them. We watch them play, we're like, oh, shit. And then we're like, oh, shit.
You got to think Miami of Ohio will be hungry to beat Cincinnati too. You know,
well, Miami of Ohio beat them last year.
Yeah.
So, you know, but it's like right in between. They go at Miami of Ohio, sandwiched between Pitt and Houston. You know what I mean? That's kind of a tough spot when you kind of look at their schedule.
Yeah, what if they beat Pitt last year?
But I mean, when you look at their schedule, I mean, they do go to Kansas State. I mean, that after that bye is a little rough, but no Utah, no Oklahoma State. I mean, it's not that bad of the schedule, but the last 4 games are a little rough.
At least they get West Virginia at home.
Yeah.
So their schedule breaks down: Towson, Pittsburgh, at Miami of Ohio, Houston, at Texas Tech before the first bye.
I got them 3-2.
I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm going to go. Yeah, I'll go 3-2 in that stretch also.
I'm going to go 3-2. I would not be surprised, honestly, for them to go 4-1. It would not surprise me. Off of the bye, it's at UCF, Arizona State at home, at Colorado.
I give them the Arizona State win, 2 losses.
I concur with your thesis statement, my friend.
I triple agree. Off of the second bye, it's West Virginia
on that stretch. That means they're going 3-0 on that stretch.
Yeah, probably. West Virginia at Iowa State, and then at Kansas State, and then TCU at home to close it off.
I got 1-3 also. 1-3 in that stretch. I think the win is TCU at the end of the season.
Ooh, I gave them the win against West Virginia.
Ooh, against Mountaintop.
Well, it's not in the mountains. I like fading West Virginia when they come down and then fading the other team when they go up.
But is Huggy Bear going to be there drinking in the stands?
I feel like the only way if West Virginia wins this one is if Huggy Bear is there drinking and driving and he runs into someone from Cincinnati.
Sure. Will he be there and drinking? Short answer, yeah. Long answer, hell yeah.
So I have them at 5 wins. The book has it at a solid 5. I could see them going bowling more than I could see them going like 3-8, 3-9.
I got them at 5.5, and I can get even money on it, plus 100 here. I think I'm on the under because I got them sitting at the 5. I'd rather be sweating the 6 than and taking the plus money here.
I'll take the over 5. I can believe. I'll give faith. Up next, it is the Colorado Buffaloes plus 3,000 to win the conference. Win total is set at 5.5, minus 140 on the over, plus 120 on the under. Again, this is similar to what we said last year. We don't know a ton. They're bringing in a lot new. Obviously, the skill possessions are going to be great. Travis Hunter, Jimmy Horn, and Jador Sanders are going to make that offense work. But will all the offensive linemen they brought in through the transfer portal make a difference?
I mean, Sanders is here, and you mentioned the transfer portal, and Lodeholt, is taking over as an offensive line coach. He has never been a positional coach at any level of football. Now, granted, was he a hell of a player when he was in the league? Hell yeah. But the offensive line is such a critical part, and you have someone that has literally never coached a position before. How is that going to look? Sanders, interesting to see his next step in his development. Obviously one of the better quarterbacks in the country, going to be one of the top picks. Hayden transferred in from Ohio State. I think there's value in betting his rushing props over to start the season. I think we can look to bet his rushing props. Wide receiving room is insane. Hunter, Horner back. Plus they added FIU and Vandy's number ones from last year. Front 7 on paper looks good. Will make Colorado better against the run. But like Jim hit the nail on the head, they have so many transfers. Are they going to be able to gel? What is that going to look like? Because it's a team sport. It's not a talent-based sport. It's a team sport. Does this team have talent? Yeah. But are they going to be able to work together? I don't know. And the main thing is, how much is Hunter going to play? Sanders was using him over 100 plays repeatedly.
I think they're going to do it again.
He can't do that. They're going to run this poor kid in the ground, and you need to take a step back. Does this kid profile him better as a wide receiver or a DB in the league? And whatever the case is, that's where they should be playing him, because that's probably gives them a best position to win. With them being so loaded in the wide receiver room, I would much rather have him play DB.
I think they're going to have him play both ways again. I think that's the plan.
Until his spleen splits.
Yeah. I
Until
will say,
out for the season.
I could see an improvement off of last year, just because I don't think their level of competition, they don't have the Oregon, or do they play Utah? They still play Utah. I don't know, man. I don't know with this Colorado team. They're so friggin' unknown. Any takes, Chase, before we get into the schedule?
It feels like it's an entire brand new team with the way that Deion's worked the portal. I'm with you. I feel like it's a big question, but I kind of feel like they're due for a big year. It's just a gut feeling, straight up vibe.
Did you guys see the training camp video that Colorado released of Shedeur threw the ball? You see it from behind him, and it looks like it's going nowhere near the receiver, and then they just cut to the receiver catching a ball in the end zone.
No,
amazing.
It was amazing. And Arkansas Chase actually parodied it and did one where it showed the Arkansas quarterback doing it, and then it showed 3 different angles of the ball in the air, and then 2 different ones of the guy catching it.
Beautiful.
And we need to remember who is their OC?
It is Pat Shurmur.
Just remember that.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest Shurmur guy.
I'm still so confused as to what he did with the OC situation last year.
Yeah, it's just
that was weird. Let's get into this schedule. North Dakota State to start the season, and then it's at Nebraska, at Colorado State, Baylor, and at UCF.
I got them 4-1.
I got them 3-2.
I also have them 3-2.
Are you giving Nebraska a win?
I'm giving Nebraska a win.
Yeah.
I have them losing to Nebraska and UCF.
That's exactly how I have it too.
But
I've just got
important,
them losing
you got to
to UCF.
remember, who does UCF have on deck? They got the Gators on deck. Potential look-ahead spot. But I think because it's a conference game, I don't think it's going to be such a look-ahead spot.
I don't even know if that I don't think any games that give me it's the way they play. Off the bye, it's Kansas State at Arizona, Cincinnati at home.
I have them getting 1.
I could. I have them with 1. I could very easily see 2 there.
I'm going to give them win against Cincinnati. At least they get Kansas State at home. I'll say 1 and 2 in that stretch. So I've got them 5 and 3.
Okay.
I got them 4. I got them 4.
Off of the second bye week, it's Utah. It's at Texas Tech, Utah at home, Kansas, and Oklahoma State. So remember, when anyone playing Kansas, they're all quote unquote neutral site games. Kansas doesn't get any true home games.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be weird because they're playing at Arrowhead, and then they're playing at the MLS arena.
Yeah,
how is Arrowhead going to look? You know what I mean? Is that going to be? You know what I mean? We got to.
It's not super far from Lawrence, but I don't know how many Kansas fans travel. It depends how I think maybe early on you could see a decent amount there, and then if they're good, it can maybe fill up a little bit, and if they kind of fall apart, barren.
Yeah, I mean it's something we need to remember when we're looking at the games with them. Excuse me.
Yeah.
God, I got this team right here, right at 5.
I got them sitting 6 and 6, I think.
I have them a whopping 4.
I'm going under. I'm going to bet the under plus 120. Fuck Colorado.
Now, here's $1 million question. Will Sanders be there next year?
Yes. Do you think he gets a better opportunity? Do you think he
I don't know. I don't know. So hypothetically, I hate to play devil's advocate here. Let's say they win 4 games, win 5 games, and Hunter and Sanders are gone.
He just retires.
No. If you're the AD, are you well, obviously we're not. Are we going to move on from him? It's just a thought, man.
I don't think there's any shot that Colorado moves on from Deion Sanders.
I think it's the other way around. Deion Sanders moves away from Colorado.
I think so, especially if they
Jones
do win 5, that's still improvement.
And then
does Deion have any more kids?
He's not Tyreek Hill.
He's out of kids.
He's not Tyreek Hill. 4 kids in 1 year, 4 different moms.
I think there's no shot Colorado moves on from him. Unless a scandal or something comes up. Up next, boys.
6 and 6.
What do you got him at, Chase?
All right. 6 and 6.
You betting that over?
To the juice? No, hell no. It's minus 145.
Yeah, I took under 5.5 plus 120. Up next, it's the Houston Cougs, the Cougars. Plus 11,000 to win the conference. Win total is set at 3.5, minus 160 on the over, plus 135 on the under. Willie Fritz, boys. Willie Fritz. I feel like he'll get this team up and running, but I don't know how quickly.
I'm excited for the Willie Fritz era in Houston. I desperately want this Houston team to be good for some reason. I think it's because they're finally landed in the big conference and it feels like, like they're finally in their spot, and I want them to shine. Like they're one of the biggest cities in the country. They have some of the most fertile recruiting ground. They should be a powerhouse. I like these city schools that are powerhouses. I
don't think he is. He's coaching at the used car lot.
Yeah, he's coaching sales trainees at the Toyota lot.
I've wanted Houston to be good and big since like the Tom Herman years.
Yeah, I mean they've They've underachieved a lot that year where they had, oh my God, who was that quarterback? They had Dell. Oh my God, what was that quarterback's name?
Erik King.
No, not
I was gonna say Erik is not forgetting Erik King. There's no shot Erik is forgetting Erik King.
Smith is back, and I'll be honest, another guy I'm not that high on. He'll be playing behind a good offensive line. Now, when you read it, they're returning 118 starts, which is absolutely insane. But only 30 of them come from non-transfers. That means a lot of pieces that are going to be coming in need to be on the same page in a new offense, new blocking scheme. Historically, that takes a while to develop. When you look back at Fritz at his time as Tulane, always had a good running game. Jenkins will be the cowbell, and once his O-line gets it together, and who knows, they may get it together quick, he's going to eat. He's another guy that rushing yard props to start the season, we need to take a serious look at because I don't think they're going to be juiced at the appropriate level. I have some questions about the passing game. Who is going to be the chain mover? Defensive line, they're losing 4, with 2 of them being all conference players. Linebackers are losing 2 starters, adding some pieces from Tulane. A couple, obviously, people followed them over. How are they going to react to the step up in competition week to week? Losing 4 in the back 4 and 2 backups, I think they're going to struggle. I think this is going to be a rebuilding year. And when you look at their schedule, the schedule is too tough. Fritz will get this team to the Tulane level, but it's going to take 3 years.
Yeah. So Chase, you were talking about it with I believe Arizona State. I think Houston might be my team to go over.
I got them winning 2.
Okay.
I got them winning 2.
UNLV at Oklahoma. Like, I don't this is tough.
They literally play everybody.
Yeah, they play everyone tough in the Big 12. Plus Oklahoma. I'll give them the UNLV win. I'll give them the Rice win. I'll give them the Baylor win. 3 and 9.
I give them the UNLV and the Rice win.
See, you guys know I'm super high on Rice this year, so can't give them the Rice win. If I'm nice, I'll give them the UNLV win. I'm taking the under on Houston, so yeah, UNLV, Oklahoma, like they play Oklahoma. At least they get Iowa State at home, but they play literally every like the favorites for the Big 12. Kansas State,
Utah and K-State back to back. I mean, the schedule.
And then at Arizona, too. Like, Arizona's one of the favorites, too. I don't know how, like we said, Arizona's, I don't know how good they're going to be, but they're still one of the favorites. Iowa State, this is tough. This is a tough schedule. Damn. Yeah, I'm going to go over. If I can make that bet somewhere, I'll do it.
I'm taking the under. I can get that under 3.5 plus 115, so I'll make that one of my 2 bets now.
I got under 3.5 plus 135, baby.
I got 2 bets in the conference too, my friend. We'll get to them a little later.
I can't believe we haven't gotten to your second best team yet, Erik.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
Up next, it's the Iowa State Cyclones plus 950 to win the Big 12 with a win total set at 7.5, minus 120 on the over, plus 100 on the under. Do ye have faith in Iowa State?
I mean, Betch started as a freshman, threw for over 3,000 yards, had a TD record for passes as a freshman. He should improve from last season where he made some awful throws and decisions. Horford is moving to center. Travis from Princeton is transferring in. And right tackle Miller is back. This is going to be a good offensive line. But I think it's going to take, with the moving pieces and people switching positions, time to gel. Sama is back. He's going to be the cowbell. I'm going to, again, another guy. I think they're going to run the ball more than people think. I'm going to look to take his overs in rushing to start the season. They're losing their tight end, but all their top 4 wide receivers return. I think the production is going to be up from Beck. I think this is going to be one of the more high-powered offenses we've seen in the Matt Campbell era. Front seven is solid, will create pressure, be stout against the run. The back, they're losing Tampa, which is going to be a huge loss. Tampa was insane for them last year. They'll need the defensive line to create pressure and band-aids the holes in the back four. Anytime Iowa State is supposed to be good, they disappoint. Anytime they're supposed to be bad, they overachieve. On paper, this team is supposed to be good.
Really good.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, I think, I want to do it, but it's not them.
Erik, I feel that about them and Oklahoma State. Those are the two teams I always feel like every time I'm not thinking about them doing good, they sneak up and win like 9-10 games. And then when you think that they should be like winning the conference, what the hell? I'm rock hard for Rocco, boys. I'm just going to say it. I think he's going to be great.
Now, do you plan to play
the
the
rock hard for so many Iowa State quarterbacks since I've known you?
I think 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah.
I was pushing it for Purdy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you bet him to bet the Heisman? Did you do that if you like him?
On Rocco? I don't.
How do you spell that last name? B-E-C-H.
Fact? B-E-C.
Yeah, B-E-C-H-T.
What are I don't
200 to 1.
You know what?
I mean, that's worth a small pizza investment from you.
That's worth some pizza money. Yeah, I'll bet that. You know what else I'll bet? I'm going to bet Iowa State to win the conference. Plus 950.
Not bad.
Actually, can one of you guys look up what Iowa State's odds are to make the playoff if they're better than that?
Make the college.
There's no shot, right?
Playoff.
Chase, just as a hypothetical, how great would it be to get a Cyhawk game in a playoff matchup?
That would be badass. That would be extremely badass.
That would be so nice.
I'm looking.
I'm looking. Check it out. By the
what was that?
Dave Aranda plus 700 first coach fired. Not long enough.
Maybe I might throw it a little bit. I don't know about that. Maybe.
Guess who the second choice is on the first coach fired list?
Well, it can't be Mel Tucker. Sammy Ballgame.
Did you say Sammy Ballgame?
Yeah.
Sam Pittman. Yep.
Yeah.
It's Billy Napier plus 400, Sam Pittman plus 500, Mario Cristobal plus 600, Dave Aranda plus 700.
Okay, give me Dave. I'll take Dave. Let's get into the schedule, boys. North Dakota at Iowa before their first bye week.
1-1.
1-1.
1-1. They're going to lose to North Dakota and beat Iowa. I'm gonna call that.
Hey man, shoot or shoot, bro.
That'd be a very Iowa State thing to do. Out of the bye week, it's Arkansas State at home, at Houston, Baylor, at West Virginia, UCF.
3-2.
I got them 4-1.
I got them going 4-1 too.
I could easily see 5-0, but I'll give them 4-1. Next bye week, it's Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, at Utah, and then K-State.
3-2.
Yeah, I got them 3-2.
So I got them 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
I got them 8-4.
8.
7-5.
So Sports Fact says it's Oklahoma State's second. I wonder if Oklahoma State's not his first team.
Maybe.
I got them 8-4. I could very easily see 9-3. And give me a little sprinkle on plus 950 to win the Big 12.
Woo.
And a little even tinier sprinkle on Rocco for Heisman, baby.
I mean, why not, dude?
200 to 1? Come on.
We need to remember, if this Dylan Gabriel is the fucking front runner right now.
This is a crazy year.
Dylan fucking Gabriel. I mean, wide open.
Good too.
Wide open.
Up next, boys, it is the Kansas Jayhawks, also plus 950 to win the conference. Win total is set at a solid 8, minus 125 on the over, plus 105 on the under. I love this Kansas team. I love Lance Leipold. He's one of my favorite coaches in college football. My only worry now, and as good, I think Jalen Daniels has the ability and potential to be the number one quarterback in this conference. But man, he gets hurt. And you know who they don't have anymore? They don't have no Bean. So,
are we really that confident that they've taken a step forward every year for like 3 years now? Every year for 3 years. They've gone over their win totals back when it was set at like 1.5 up to a couple years, like 3 years in a row, they've taken a step forward. Do we really think that they can take another step forward again? I mean, I think they've got a fairly easy schedule as far as the Big 12 goes, but I don't know. I think expecting just like even more out of them, especially when you have like, you remember when San Diego State wasn't playing in their own stadium, how fucking weird that was for them and how off they were. I think Kansas might be like your shocker, like underperformer for the Big 12 season.
And when they play those games, here, I'm gonna pull up their schedule real quick.
It's not like they were ever thumping people either. Like every game was a cack fight.
Yeah, every game was a shootout. I'm excited to see them play Colorado.
That'll be fun.
That's just gonna be great TV. And they're missing their Bean. They're missing the Bean.
They play TCU at Arrowhead. I think that place is going to be a ghost town. They play Houston at Arrowhead. That game is going to be a ghost town. Iowa State at Arrowhead. Maybe there could be some people there. And Colorado at Arrowhead. There'll be some people there. Like, you know, they play Lindenwood at Children's Mercy Park. UNLV at Children's Mercy Park. That just sounds like a park in the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, right there, dude.
It probably is.
Yeah.
The swing sets are the end zone.
Dude, so I get this isn't the Big Ten one. Erik, we're going to have to get you to go to a Northwestern game.
Dude, I've been to Northwestern games.
No. This year.
This year, you want me to go to a Northwestern game?
I want you to like survey the lacrosse stadium that they're building right there. Because they're doing a temp stadium that too.
Check the private chat.
Let me take a look.
Oh, I haven't sent it yet.
Kansas is going to be a weird team, and I can't reiterate it enough. They're missing their Bean.
And you hit the nail on the head. If Daniels goes off, the season is absolutely going to derail. That's my first question. That's the $1 million question. Can he stay healthy? No Bean. Offensive line is a question mark. They were awesome last season, having over 200 yards a game running the ball, but they're losing 2 all-conference players and have transfers coming in. So I say it all the time. It's going to take time for a group to gel when you lose your 2 best and you have transfers coming in to replace them. McGuffey is gone, and the backfield is O'Neill's for the taking, but the success falls in the offensive line. They have playmakers on the outside, so if Daniels can stay healthy, they will have something with this offense in the passing game. They're losing Booker, who is their best pass rusher, which is a huge blow to this team, and there's no clear-cut replacement for him. No clear-cut replacement has emerged. With the defense, they run linebackers are the key. They could have the best unit in the league. Losing Logan will be a huge blow to the back four. Dangerous team if Daniels can stay healthy, which he hasn't done in the past. Also, their football stadium is getting redone, so they're going to be playing games at different stadiums. Will the college kids go to that game? Because we all know it's a different atmosphere. Yeah. When you get drunk 20-year-olds at a college game versus mature 30-year-olds with the kids there on a Sunday and a Saturday, just a different field.
I'm going to be honest. If they were playing in Lawrence, I would be in love with this team.
I think it would help me. it would help me feel a little bit more bullish.
Dude, I'm
I
just
got
looking.
this
Go ahead,
as a
Chase.
6-6. I think this is a 6-6 Liberty Bowl team.
I'm looking at their like games from last year. Only one game that they lost were they not in it, and that was against Texas. They could have easily gone 11-1 last year, and it wouldn't have been surprising.
And they were in it for a little bit against Texas. It wasn't just a straight walkover. Like the first half, it looked dicey for Texas.
I would
don't
be in
know.
love with this team if they were in Lawrence.
But they're not, so I'm not.
No.
And I got the team
As
at
it
6-6.
is, they play Lindenwood at Illinois, UNLV at West Virginia, TCU, and then at Arizona State to start the season. Ooh.
I have them only losing to West Virginia.
Yeah, I can see them losing to TCU as well, but I'm also going to give them only the loss to West Virginia. In between
I got
buys,
losing to Illinois. Getting birded. Birded.
you think
in week
Illinois
2.
gets the revenge spot from last year?
Yep. I think they get birded in week 2.
They could. They very easily could. It's a prime bird spot. In between the buys, they just get Houston and at K-State.
I have them losing to K-State.
Yeah, I got them 1-1 there. I have a buddy who's a big K-State fan. If K-State loses to Kansas, he will go ballistic. And then after that, it's Iowa State at BYU, Colorado, and then at Baylor.
I have them going 2-2.
Oh, Jesus. I got this team at 8-4. Right on the money, right on 8.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have them at 8-2. But if Daniels gets hurt,
rolling hard 6s.
if Daniels gets hurt, I got him at 3-9.
Yeah, Daniel gets hurt. Give me like 2-10, 3-9 territory. Their season's tanking if he goes down. I'm taking the under. I got him at 8. I'm going to take the under. Plus 105.
Got nothing.
You take anything here, Chase?
No, the under is way too juiced because it's sitting at minus 165 for under 8.5 when I've got them well under. But yeah, that's a no-go.
Up next, boys, it is the Kansas State Wildcats plus 380 to win the conference with the win total set at 9.5. Plus 125 on the over, minus 150 on the under. Erik alluded to it earlier, but it kind of just comes down to how do you feel about Avery Johnson? I trust, obviously, the coaching. New OC, to be fair. But I like Avery Johnson a lot. I like him a lot.
Taking over. Staff is very high on him. Anyone who watches or listens to the football work I do knows how big I am in the offensive line. And the offensive line of K-State is a little worrisome to me. They're losing 4 starters. One of them was an All-American. One of them was an all-conference players. They have 36 starts returning. 26 of them are coming from the lone starter returning. Very inexperienced offensive line. With that being said, I don't get the Giggins, as I used to say his name, the running back. I don't get the Heisman hype on Twitter. You have a very inexperienced offensive line and a quarterback that kind of likes to run, and your running back's going to be like, I just don't understand it.
People just
I get
still have like the taste of Deuce Vaughn in their mouth.
Yeah, but I get he's good. But
He's good. He's really good.
The line he's running behind, there's some serious questions. Sessoms is going to have a breakout season at the wide receiver position. Defensive line is solid. Will be the strength of the defense. Linebackers are young. No depth in the back 4. Look, schedule is great, but in the big games, when they're playing teams with an elite defensive line, do you trust this offensive line? Do you trust Avery Johnson to make throws? I don't. I think that they're not. I think they're the 3rd, 4th best team in the league, maybe the 5th.
I think they're
This is a tough schedule.
solidly in the top 3. I think their defense alone will be able to help them a lot. I think their defense is going to be good. And I trust K-State to develop offensive linemen.
Grow a lot of corn there. Need that for the white boys.
You do. I'm pretty high. I mean, I'm just always like, I definitely would have been higher if it was the old Big 12 and they were kind of being slept on a little bit. Now that they have the expectations thrust upon them as being like a top 2, top 3 team in this league, I am intrigued to see how they deal with that. I believe
that's a good point. You know, when you're kind of like the hunter to going to the huntee, if that makes sense. So,
because like every single year, it was like K-State's the dark horse darling.
Yeah.
Right. Now they're the favorites.
Their schedule isn't doing them any favors with what they have on the road either. Like what, I don't know, people might be seeing as sure wins. They have to go to that little bandbox stadium down in New Orleans and play Tulane. That's not a gimme. They have to go west into the Rockies and play BYU. They got Colorado at Colorado. They got West Virginia at West Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, when you're playing at West Virginia, I go ahead and just can't pencil it in as an L, and I bet you I'm going to have a positive win percentage by the end of the season doing that because it's a tough place to play.
So
it's interesting.
Remember that we had BJ, God, what's his name? Betty come on. BJ Betty come on, and he told the story when he played at Colorado and they played at West Virginia. Someone unscrewed the tires on the bus when they were leaving. So it is crazy there. That's a very tough place to play. And I mean, that's why I kind of think if you are looking for a quote, we'll talk about it later.
Let's get into the schedule. Tennessee Martin at Tulane, Arizona at BYU, Oklahoma State to start the season. I got them 4-1.
I think the best you can give them is 3-2. They're going to drop something to someone there.
I got them 4-1.
The Tulane they will not overlook because I believe they lost to Tulane like 2 years ago at home. So they're smelling that. In between buys, it's at Colorado, at West Virginia, Kansas, at Houston.
I have them 3-1 here.
2-2. 2-2.
I got them 3-1 as well. Probably losing to West Virginia. They could very easily lose to Colorado as well, too, though. And then after that bye week, it's Arizona State, Cincinnati, and at Iowa State for Farmageddon.
I have them 2-1.
2-1. 7-5.
I might give them some. Lost to Iowa State last year. Give me 3-0 there.
I got them 9. God damn it! How the hell do I have them at 9-3?
I got them at 10-2. Give me the over.
7-5. I think it's a bad year for the Sunflower State in football. Not a bad year, but just a mediocre year for the Sunflower State in football.
Up next, folks, it is Erik's Oklahoma State Cowboys. Plus 750 to win the conference with a win total set at a flat 8. Over is a minus 130. Under plus 110. Your Oklahoma State, obviously the main story with this team, it's Ollie Gordon, probably the best running back in the country. He's going to be what they rely on because I don't know about you guys. I think I'm out on Alan Bowman. I think finally after year 9, maybe I'm out.
He's entering year 7, coming off a 15 to 14 TD to INT ratio. I would normally say he would improve on those numbers, but he's so old. I think he is what he is at this point. They have all 5 starters back, and I think they have one of the best offensive lines in the country, and I could make an argument in the nation because of that. And look, I know he got a DUI, but when you look historically at what Gundy has done with players that have got DUIs, it's a 1-game suspension. He's going to miss 1 game.
I don't even know if he misses one, dude. I don't even know if he misses one.
I don't think he misses one. Like you have Gundy doing verbal flips talking about we've all been there before. You had a few beers. I don't think he misses.
I think he's in line for a huge season. If he can stay healthy, rushed for over 1,700 yards last season, won the Walker Award. With that being said, and the offensive line in front of him, I took him 80-1 to win the Heisman.
Yep.
I think that's just an insane number. Now, if it comes out that he's not going to be suspended, what is this number going to be? 20, 25-1? It is high right now because the suspension kind of looms. With him being there, it's going to force teams to stack the box, make stuff a little easier for Bowman. And then they do have Owens and Presley on the outside. So that should help Bowman if Gordon's able to be what we think he is. I have some questions if they're going to be able to create a pass rush. Back seven is tough. This will be a different Oklahoma State in years in past. Look, at Utah is going to be tough. Utah at home, K-State on the road is going to be tough. I bet this team 10-1 to win the Big 12 too. I mean, I think there's some value on him just because I value offensive line. I think they have the best offensive line in the conference. Could have one of the best offensive lines in the country. And they have Ollie Gordon, who could win the Heisman. And we've seen it before. You just have that running back, and you can just effing lean on him.
They're one of the teams that's like, without Texas and Oklahoma there, they probably feel like they should be rising up and being like a perennial, like top tier favorite to win the Big 12 every year.
Correct.
When was the last time Gundy won the Big 12?
Quarter than ever, I think.
Yeah, I don't think he ever has.
Has he tied? Has he ever tied? Because I remember forever they didn't have championships or anything.
I don't think so. I don't give them a chance to win the conference because I don't trust Gundy to win the conference. I trust him to stumble a couple places, then quietly have like a 10-2, 9-3 season and still not win the conference.
Yeah. I mean, like, I can totally see that. And I'll probably be betting against them a lot this season, but I just think the blueprint is there for them to win it, if that makes sense.
See that? So Erik, on paper, I agree with just about everything you're saying, but in my head, every time I think Oklahoma State should be like one of the best teams in the conference, in the country, whatever, I'm in for a disappointing season. I can't help it. I can't. But on paper, I see him winning like 10 games.
I mean, on paper, they're insane, dude. Just do it, man.
South Dakota State. Okay, so I will try and I'll use my weird brain to like fight against Erik here. But let's go to the schedule. South Dakota State, Arkansas, at Tulsa, Utah, at Kansas State, and West Virginia to open the season.
I got them 4-2 in that stretch. I think they rip off 3 straight. They lose to Utah. They lose to Kansas State. They get the win with West Virginia at home.
I have them losing to Utah.
I have them losing to Utah and either one of Arkansas, Tulsa, or South Dakota State. They're losing one of those games. Probably South Dakota State. Off the bye, it's at BYU, at Baylor, Arizona State, at TCU.
I think either BYU or Baylor's going to. One of those teams is going to get them.
Altitude, Baylor Heat, Arizona State, at TCU. That's 3 road games in 4 weeks. I have them losing to Baylor, and I have them losing to TCU. I think they can get BYU just because they're coming off the bye. Arizona State, we all are really low on this year. But I just kind of think, like I said, if the schedule plays out like I think it's going to play out, this could be one of the teams where we see getting a lot of hype. College kids listen to the hype, go to Baylor in a flat spot, end up losing.
And then Texas Tech at Colorado.
Both wins.
I
say they lose.
Go ahead, Chase.
I'll say they go into Colorado with a chance to do something and they end up losing because that's very Oklahoma State of them.
They lose inexplicable games. Oklahoma State will beat both K-State and Utah and lose to like Tulsa and Baylor.
Arkansas will jump up and get them, and there'll be a quiet season until they go on a little run, and then they'll peter out in the Big 12. And that
I don't want to spoil the SEC preview, Chase, but I have Arkansas biting someone in the SEC.
Good.
Yeah.
We deserve it.
Yeah.
Our poor little souls. We deserve it.
I got a nice little upset for you guys. I'll bet the over 8, but I can't. I'm with Chase. I can't get over the hump of Oklahoma State winning the conference. Hey, I'm already on Iowa State, baby. And what number did you get them at, Erik? What number did you get them
at? 10-1.
Yeah, they're plus 750 now.
Yeah.
You still take it there?
No.
Okay, there you go.
You got to get that 10-1. You got to get that 10-1.
Up next, the TCU Horned Frogs plus 1,800 to win the conference. Win total is set at 7.5. Plus 125 on the over, minus 150 on the under. TCU is an interesting team. They're still reloading, I feel like. They're still rebuilding since the national championship. They lost a ton, but they're still in the process. I still believe in Sonny Dykes eventually, though. Can they bounce back?
With Morris leaving, Hoover is a clear starter. He did have issues with turnovers last season. They're losing 4 stars in the offensive line, gaining a ton of transfers of talent. Again, all these new pieces coming in. How long is it going to take them to gel? Bailey is gone, which is a huge because you're losing your cowbell back and you have questions at your offensive line. Losing Wiley in the passing game will hurt, but they have 6 of their top 8 returning, but they're losing their number 1. Defensive trenches are losing Williams, which will be huge. Back 7 will be the strength of the defense. The team has the potential to sneak on some, but in the trenches, they just don't have enough to compete on a week-in, week-out level.
Schedule is all right. I forgot that they brought Kendall Briles in.
You forgot about Kenny Boy?
I forgot about old Kenny.
Kendall Briles is not a bad offensive coordinator.
He's not. All right, let's get to the schedule, boys. At Stanford, LIU, UCF, at SMU, Kansas, and Houston to start us off before their first bye.
I have 1, 2, 4, and 2.
Yeah, I'll go 4-2, maybe 5-1 there. It's tough. Out of the bye, it's at Utah, Texas Tech, at Baylor, Oklahoma State.
2 and 2, possibility of 1 and 3.
Yeah, I got them 2 and 2 there as well. And then they finish off with Arizona and at Cincinnati.
What's their total set at? 7.5.
7.5, baby.
Big time under. Yeah. Because I think they could easily drop the Stanford game to start it off.
True, but they could also easily beat UCF.
Maybe not. Little teams.
SMU's always interesting. What's going to be going on with Kansas? Is Daniel's going to be healthy at that time?
Not high on Cincinnati at the end of the season. Give me the over. Give me the over plus 125 for TCU. I trust Sonny Dykes. get it together.
You trust the Sun?
I trust the Dyke man. Up next, boys. Tech.
You've had some
Texas
good
Tech. Red Raiders. Plus 1,400 to win the conference. Win total set at 7.5. Minus 105 on the over. Minus 115 on the under. Texas Tech's interesting. I feel like sneaky, super tough place to play. Love it.
I'm still bitter about how the hell they lost and didn't cover that Oregon game last year. I'm still bitter.
Oh man, that was brutal.
I'm still bitter about that. Morton is back, and this is the year that he needs to break out. I've been high on this kid for the last couple of years. He's just never had that really breakout. O-line was solid last season, but this season they have a new O-line coach losing 3 starters, and they're getting 3 transfers, which is going to start right away. That's a lot of moving pieces. Brooks ran for over 1,500 yards last season, but I'm afraid that he's going to take a step back because of the offensive line. Wide receivers disappointed last season with the amount of drops they had. They're losing a lot, but high on who's coming in. We'll see who becomes a true number 1 and chain mover. Defensive line allowed 160 yards a game, only had 27 sacks. They're losing their best player. Pressure will be on Rodriguez at the linebacker position to be the run stopper. In the back 4, they're losing a ton. Taylor DeMensel will need to step up. He's very inexperienced. A lot of questions here. A lot of questions. Fun offense, but a lot of questions.
They're an intriguing team. They're an intriguing team to me. God.
I think that they could actually. I think that this team is going to go on a big time run to start the season, and then they're going to go on a big time fall to end the season. Like I think I could see this team going 5-1 to start off, and then dropping off and going, 1-5.
The old Syracuse special.
The old Syracuse special. Dino Babers is in the Big 12 now, so it's not that far away. So I'm calling my shot with 6-6.
They start the season: Abilene Christian, at Washington State, North Texas, Arizona State, Cincinnati, and at Arizona.
I have them
5-1.
1, 2, 3, 4-2.
I like Chase. I had them 5-1. Off of the bye week, they get Baylor, at TCU, at Iowa State, and then Colorado. Sorry, at TCU.
Baylor's the only game I have them winning after the first bye.
But important, though, to end the season, Baylor off of a bye, Iowa State off of a bye, Colorado off of a bye, Oklahoma State off of a bye. So we need to kind of remember that when we're putting. I have them 2-2 before their next bye.
And then it's at Oklahoma State and West Virginia at home.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I have them beating West Virginia. I have them beating Colorado. I have them beating Baylor. I got this team 8-4.
I got 7.
I got them 8-4, baby. Give me Texas Tech. I might hammer. I might push that button a little bit too. I don't know. We'll see. Might see a little something from me later on. Up next, boys, it is UCF, the Knights, plus 950 to win the conference. Win total is set at 7.5, minus 125 on the over, plus 105 on the under. They get KJ. I trust Gus to get the offense working. This defense, though, needs to improve. They were awful last year. I don't know if they will. I just don't know. They're fun. They're going to be a fun to watch team. I'm excited for UCF. At the very worst, it's going to be exciting television to watch.
It's true.
UCF. Jefferson transferring in. I'm hearing a lot of the Cam Newton type stuff, but Jefferson isn't anywhere near the level of quarterback that Newton was, so I'd pump the brakes.
Better.
Only 2 starters back in the offensive line. They're adding 2 transfers, so I think the offensive line will take a step backwards from when they were last season. Harvey is back, and he had a great season last year, but let's see how he does running behind a weaker offensive line. We've seen this all the time in college. These backs have this phenomenal year, then their offensive line isn't as good, and they come back down to earth. Baker is gone, so Hudson will have to be the number 1 wide receiver. Going to be interesting to see how he adjusts from being the number 2 on the scouting report to being the man. Johnson and Jones are good pieces to have. Losing Morris Brash on the offensive line is going to be a huge blow and something that can't be overlooked. Their run defense will be the same, but they're going to have trouble creating pressure. Middle of the field, I don't really know what we'll be getting as they have all transfers coming in, players that have never played together. Back 4, they have 3 back, same level as last season. And the $1 million question with UCF, like it is every single year, can they win outside the bounce house?
Maybe. What, they win 1 game last year on the road? No, 2.
Yeah.
They won 2.
I think that you have a quarterback who's played in some really tough situations and actually has a competent offensive play caller this year, and that UCF is going to shine a big time this year. This is probably just dirty homerism for KJ Jefferson and wanting him to do well, but I see big things, and I'm going to financially stake myself on that, I think.
God damn, Chase, I don't hate it either. Ugh. If I wouldn't have picked Iowa State, this is another good pick to win the friggin' conference. I think. I'm expecting a big bounce back year. I'm expecting a lot out of the offense. I don't really care if the I think my take for UCF is I don't think they lose a home game. That's my
But it comes down to, can they win on the road though? Like, you know what I mean? Like every year, can they win on the road? And if they can, they could be good, but
they get TCU on the road, Florida on the road, Iowa State, Arizona State, and West Virginia. I think they win.
I'm calling my shot. They beat Florida.
Chase, I'm calling my shot twice for them. I got them beating Florida, and at the end of the year, I have them beating Utah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have them. 1, 2, 3.
I got them 9 and 3.
7 and 5.
You gonna take the under 7.5, Erik?
No, man.
I got them 9 and 3, baby. Give me those Knights.
11 and 1.
Woo! You gonna take a plus 950?
Wow.
11 to 1. I've got them plus 7. 11 to 1. I got them plus 750 to win the conference. I've got them plus 1,000 to make the 12-team playoff, and I've got KJ at 33 to 1 to win the Heisman.
Boom. All in, Chase. I love it.
I'm all in. I'm shoving. How out of character is this? Like, I'm serious. You know why I'm serious is because I'm doing this for a Gus Malzahn team, and Jim knows how much I fucking hate Gus Malzahn.
It's true.
But I'm shoving. I think he does it.
I think he's going to at least have the offense figured out. I like the over. I might sprinkle a little bit on that playoff pick, Chase.
Just got to live, man. Like McConaughey says, man. Just gotta live, man.
We're living in Central Florida.
Up next, it is the Utah Utes plus 320 to win the Big 12. Their win total is set at 9.5, minus 145 on the over, plus 125 on the under. The big thing for them, Cam Rising again, back. He's back.
He's questionable. He's questionable for week 1.
He's back. He had a whole year of questionable last year, Chase. He's back finally after, what is this year? This is to be your 12, right? For Cam Rising? You're 12, 13?
That sounds about right.
He can rent cars without having to fill out special forms. I think he's 25. It feels like he's 25.
Yeah.
Can use a debit card now to rent out cars. Doesn't need that credit card.
Yeah.
Can Rising stay healthy? $1 million question. If he can, the team is a legit playoff threat and a legit threat to win the title, and Rising's a Heisman threat. If not, they're going to struggle. A lot of pressures on the offensive line that is losing 2 all-conference players. This will be a running back by committee approach, but unless someone random like a Vaikai appears like they did last season, just going to be a random guy each week. They're losing their number 1 wide receiver in last year, but they have an insane amount of talent transferring in from the portal. So I actually think this wide receiver group is going to be greatly improved. Singer from USC is supposed to be lighting up camp. Death, Texas, and Utah having one of the best defensive lines in the country. Same case this season. Big blow to the defense is Damunia is out for the year. But could arguably still have one of the best front sevens in the country. Losing Bishop and Vaitai in the back 4 hurts it. But if the defense can create pressure, it's going to band-aid a lot of that. With the defense, the schedule, and Ryzen staying healthy, I think this team has a legitimate shot of winning it all, and I've got an 80-1.
How poetic would it be for them to win it all and then Kyle Whittingham put it all away and retire?
And just say, peace out, bitches.
Well, he already has the progression, the chain of he has it ready to go. They have the coach in waiting.
Yeah. I could see that. Like, if he wins it, I could see him just being, hey,
I'm done.
Good run.
Oh, also, just as an aside, I get for the Arizona schools and Colorado and whatnot, they're and Utah, they're all moving conferences. I feel like if there's one school that's the best school in the country at changing conferences, it might be Utah. They've done it how many times now?
Sorry. 70-1 for Utah. Sorry, I lied.
They went from the WAC to the Mountain West to the Pac-12 to now the Big 12.
Oh, they've been all over the place.
Yeah. I love this Utah team. Give me Erik. I'm gonna get on that national championship train with Utah.
Respect, Jimmy. Respect.
I think that's my first natty pick on the show.
Ooh, look at that.
Let's go to the schedule, boys. Southern Utah, Baylor, at Utah State, at Oklahoma State, and then Arizona before your first bye.
I mean, I'll just make it easy. I have them running the table until they lose to UCF.
Yeah.
I have running the table until they lose to Colorado and then losing to UCF at the end. So I got them 10-2.
11-1, stumble against UCF, and then win it all on their way to a natty.
But I mean, even if they go 10-2, 11-1, they can still win the Big 12 and make it in.
Oh yeah, even at 10-2, they're still very likely to be able to have a shot to make it in.
Yeah.
Do you think the Big 12 they got to get 2 teams, right?
I think a lot of it just kind of depends how everything kind of plays out, to be honest with you, man.
I guess so. But there's so many at large. I feel like the Big 12 I feel like every conference has to get at least 2. It'd be real lame if the Big 10 and the SEC get 5 apiece. Last but certainly not least, boys, it is the West Virginia.
A 5-loss Michigan State team, that'd be funny.
That'd be hilarious. West Virginia is plus 1,800 to win the Big 12. Win total set at 6.5, minus 130 on the over, plus 110 on the under. You don't want to come up in the mountains and play, but also hot seat last year, no longer on the hot seat. What do we feel about Neil Brown?
Hell of a job last year, man. I mean,
he was in some tough games too.
Hell of an effing job. Definitely there's a lot of questions inside the trenches, was able to kind of get everything going in the right direction. Green is back, and hear me out. Is he the best quarterback that West Virginia has had since Patrick White?
I'm not sure that's a bold statement to make. Maybe he might be.
Last season, offensive line was insane. They allowed just 10 sacks, rushed for over 229 yards a game. Running back will be by committee approach. Doesn't matter. I'm not going to lie. I could run for 100 yards per game behind this offensive line. Feels like I'm sorry, lost my train of thought. They're losing Carter, who was their number one wide receiver last year. I feel like losing Lockhart is going to hurt the defensive line, which is too bad because this linebacker room is loaded. If they had the defensive line and the linebackers, great front seven. Corners are good. Safeties lead a little bit to desire. This defense has a potential if the D-line can stop the run and the safeties can play up. Last line, schedule's a bitch.
It's not easy.
Here's my quick and simple handicap. They win every single home game. They lose every single road game. They go 7-5.
I don't know if I agree with Chase 100%, but I do think they go 7-5. Like, I think they can win like at Cincinnati. I think they can get a team like Pittsburgh's going to be a weird one. Let's get in the schedule. Penn State, Albany, at Pitt, Kansas to open it up. I got them 2-2.
I got
2-2 for the first bye.
Yeah.
In between the byes, at Oklahoma State, Iowa State, Kansas State, at Arizona.
2-2.
Yeah, I give them 2-2 there as well. And then after the second bye, since at Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, at Texas Tech. 3-1.
3-1, but Cincinnati, Baylor, UCF, all coming off byes.
Yep. I'm at 7-5.
1,
Give me the over.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7-5 as well.
Give me the over. Give me the over. Before we get to these independents, favorite bets from the Big 12, boys.
Ollie Gordon, Heisman, baby.
Ollie Gordon, Heisman.
I've got under 5.5 wins for Cincinnati. I've got under 3.5 wins for Houston. I've got UCF to win the conference, KJ Jefferson, Heisman, UCF to make the playoff, and then Utah under 9.5 wins.
My favorite bets will be Arizona State over 4.5, BYU over 4.5, Colorado under 5.5, Houston under 3.5, Kansas under 8, Kansas State over 9.5, TCU over 7.5. Those are all my plus money babies. And then Iowa State to win the conference, Ollie Gordon, Heisman as well with Erik. And I'll just bet Utah for the Natty.
There we go. There we go, Jimmy.
Let's throw it in there.
I'm giving you a clap, Jimmy, for that bet. I did Oklahoma State 10-1 to win it, to win the Big 12, and Utah 70-1 to win it all.
To the independents, boys, we have shrunk. There are only 3 independents this year.
I totally forgot about that. And I was getting ready to take my notes. There was 3. I was like, thank God.
Right, dude? Because I remember doing this 2 years ago, Erik, and it was like, oh, we had Notre Dame, Liberty, UConn, UMass, BYU.
It was brutal.
So let's start off alphabetical order. Notre Dame, Fighting Irish. I got it right here. Win total is set at a solid 10, minus 115 on the over, minus 105 on the under. If they don't make the playoff, I feel like Freeman's on the hot seat.
Can Leonard stay healthy? That's the question, the $1 million question.
I think so.
We'll be honest. I've never been a Leonard guy. I think he's a little overrated. He's playing behind an offensive line that's losing 3 starters. All of them were all conference players. One of them being Joel out. This line is going to take a huge step backwards. Estamine is gone. But Price ran for 106 in the bowl game. He is back, also a year away from the ACL. Wide receiver room is loaded. If the O-line can protect Leonard and Leonard can stay healthy, this unit can produce. The defensive line, Cross is back, but Jean Basepi is gone. Linebackers have Clark, who transferred in from LSU. Jin and Kessler are returning. They need to stay healthy, obviously. Do they have the depth and the DB? Do they have the depth of the linebackers? DBs could be one of the best in the country. Look, if Leonard can stay healthy, they have a good schedule. They could make a run. You know what I mean? They could do something, but there's another team. If one or two people get hurt, like shit's just gonna hit the fan.
I think Leonard will be okay. I think the offensive line for Notre Dame keeps him safe. I think they probably go like 10-2 and get into the playoff, and then maybe get blown out in the playoffs.
Depending on where they're seated, I think they could make a couple game run, and then they'll run into someone real and get blown out.
So on their entire schedule, I have them maybe even running the table. It's not out of this world.
I was looking at it too. I think Georgia Tech could be a tougher game than they're bargaining for, because I'm really high on Georgia Tech this year. And then at USC, you can't ever count out USC in that game since it is a rivalry game. I'll call it a conservative 11-1. But I think I'm with you. I think they have a chance to run the table.
They could easily run the table. Like I fought to get them a loss, and I have them at 12-0.
Yeah, I will be betting the over 10. I will be.
I'll be doing nothing.
To the UConn Huskies we go. We're not going to go through the schedule. Notre Dame's just going to win it all. UConn Huskies win total set at 4.5, minus 130 on the over, plus 110 on the under. I don't know with this team, dude. Both UConn and UMass, I don't know. Bad year last year for UConn. I don't know if there's improvement in the lights. Do we like Jim Mora? Are we pro Jim Mora?
I am at the collegiate level.
Yeah, he's good at the collegiate level.
I agree.
He was all right at UCLA.
Fangio is back, will be the starter, but I wouldn't be shocked if Evans replaces him. Offensive line is losing 3, one of which is Haynes, who was an All-American, so it's going to take a step backwards. Edwards, who started the season at safety and finished at running back, will be the lead back. Hansen is back, and they're adding Buckman, so I think that this unit will be able to bruise if whoever is a quarterback can throw on target. Defensive line, Yates is back, who led them to sacks, but Watts is gone, and they're adding 4 transfers. I think they'll struggle against the run. Mitchell is gone in the middle, so this is going to be a huge blow to the defense. DBs will be the strength of the defense, and I always feel it's never a good thing. When your DBs are the strength, it's never a good season. But they have an easy schedule. Because they have an easy schedule, they're probably going to make a bowl game.
So they get like the entire middle chunk of their schedule. They're just at home the entire time.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you look at their schedule, Cuse, Wake, Duke, and Maryland. Those are only like the power teams they play. You know, like this is a doable schedule, guys. Like this team's gonna F around. They're gonna win 6 to 7 games, and they're gonna make a bowl game.
Let's get into this schedule. At Maryland, Merrimack, at Duke. To like start us off.
I have a 4 wins going up the bye.
So from Maryland. So at Maryland, Merrimack, at Duke, Florida Atlantic, Buffalo, Temple, you have them at 4 wins.
Yep, 4-2.
I got them 3-3.
Okay.
I'll go a conservative 3-3.
Off the bye, it's Wake Forest at home, Rice, Georgia State at UAB.
3-1.
2-2.
Yeah, I'll go 2-2, and I feel like I'm giving them a couple of those ones. Then it's at Syracuse, at UMass.
I've got them 6-6. I think they finish up the win against UMass.
6-6, but I like. I mean, yeah, 4.5 is the total. I'll take the over. Didn't know Erik was so high on this fucking UConn team.
I got my 8 wins. I'm not touching anything.
Sweet.
Hell. Plus, we need to remember they're playing all these teams in the middle of their regular season during conference play.
That's true.
They're not going to really be like, oh shit, we got to get up for UConn, because the teams they play, Rice, Georgia State, UAB, Wake Forest, Temple, Buffalo, FAU, they're going to be focused on trying to win their conference. That's letdown city for these guys before they play.
UConn and UMass are both like this year the perfect letdown teams.
Oh yeah, for sure. But UConn
UMass, the Minutemen, win total set at 3.5, minus 125 on the over, plus 105 on the under. Don Brown motivating the hell out of these boys. They're joining the MAC next year.
And they are a 2-win team.
I mean, the key to them is, look, their quarterback. Are they going to, whose name I can't pronounce, are they going to let him run? In the last 7 games, they didn't, and they only rushed for less than 90 yards a game. Lost 2 starters on the offensive line. I think it's just going to be the same as last year. John from Arizona is transferring in, will be the cowbell back. Will be a downgrade from last season. Simpson is back. Everyone else is gone, so I really have no idea what to expect in the passing game. It will be adventure on the defensive line. They're losing a lot. I know Brown says he's high in this unit, but I don't see it. Linebackers, I think they're going to take a step forward with who they're bringing in. DBs have 3 back, adding 6 in the portal. I just think they're improved compared to what they had last year, but the schedule is too tough. So
why the fuck do they play Missouri and Georgia?
They just want the check.
That's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, literally, they just want the check. I mean, they need money for the program. So
this is how they afford jerseys, going and getting that ass kicked.
No, but seriously, like they don't have a TV contract until next year, with because they're independent. So they need
gotta get that money somehow.
Man. And this money's probably flowing their whole athletic department.
Getting into the schedule, they start off getting right. They're getting accustomed to the MAC this year because they play a lot of MAC schools. Eastern Michigan, at Toledo, at Buffalo, and then Central Connecticut State, at Miami, at Northern Illinois, Missouri.
I have them
1 win.
I have them 2 wins.
What are your 2, Erik?
Buffalo and Central Connecticut State.
I also gave them the Buffalo win and the Central Connecticut State win.
I just gave them the Central Connecticut State win. You guys are crazy.
Off of the bye, Wagner at Mississippi State.
Wagner win.
I'm beating Mississippi State, losing to Wagner.
Right. Wagner win. And then off of the second bye, it's Liberty at Georgia and UConn.
0 0-3 2.
I got them at 3.
1, 2. I have them at 3 wins.
Is there a way they can get to 4?
I mean,
do you boys know the last year that they had 4 wins?
the last time Brown was here?
1918.
2018 was the last time they had 4 wins as a program.
Good for them. Good for them that year. Aw.
It's rough.
I was on their over last year of like 1.5, and it was brutal. And I told myself I'm never going to do that shit again. So
I want them to turn into I want them to turn into cover machines so that, like, during football season, I can bet UMass every single game, kind of like how I bet UMass Lowell every single game in basketball this year.
I'm on the under for UMass.
Jim, I think
Notre Dame to make the playoff, but I think it's minus
college football game, and you should just rebuild UMass. You just fucking take over the system. build it up from the inside out, establish the power run game, get a mobile quarterback. I mean, I think that's what you need to do, man.
I think that'd be fun. Oh, boys. This has been the Big 12. What a conference. And independence. And, like, who cares about Notre Dame? Like, whatever. Fuck that. You guys ready? Who are we doing next? Which one's up next? We feeling the ACC?
Sounds good.
Let's do the ACC.
Let's go with the ACC.
Let's do it. All right, folks. Tune in next week for the ACC. As always, give us a like, give us a follow. It does help. Follow Chase out of Oaklawn. Follow Erik at eTop21 Sports everywhere. Follow me at XFL Jim. Love you guys, and we'll see you next time for another episode of the College Football Tailgate. Bye-bye, everybody. Bye-bye.